I don't know what to tell you more about Sri Ganesh, because really it is so important that we have to know the importance of Mooladhara Chakra. If you read the newspaper, just on the first page, you find people going amok as far as their moral sense is concerned. Absolutely, I mean, to us it is something so shocking. And perhaps, I think people are possessed on their Mooladhara Chakra. The way they behave, one feels that there's something gone wrong with them completely and they have no control over themselves. And just like mad people they are behaving. And all these problems that are coming of these perversions are due to this kind of a possession on the Mooladhara Chakra. One has to be very, very careful and respectful about it. I've already told so many things, how to keep it clean, how to respect it, how to behave yourself. As you know, Sri Ganesha was created at the gate of hell to protect us from falling into hell. But actually, when we insult him and we do not care for him, he just sleeps off. When that happens, any kind of a possession can come and can really make people mad. When you come from India to these places, you're really surprised and shocked. What is wrong with these people? How can they be behaving in this manner? How can they go all out to ruin themselves like this? And how is it they do not understand the importance of morality when they are following Christ? The Christians, I think, are the worst as far as morality is concerned. They have no moral values left in them. It's such a sad thing that the number of people killed by Christians is also the maximum. Sometimes I think these people who are killed everywhere might have possessed the Christians this way, that they are just going amok and behaving in this manner, destroying themselves. Now the first quality of Sri Ganesha is that he gives us wisdom. And that wisdom gives us the sense how to behave, gives us the balance, and gives us the sense how to behave towards ourselves, how to preserve yourself, how to respect yourself. But if Ganesha is not at all there to watch you, might be from hell, some horrible hellish bhoots are coming out, or I don't know. I cannot explain this kind of thing. Now the other way around, I'll tell you, in India is especially with women, they are extremely particular about their chastity, extremely particular. Like we had a queen called Padmini, and she was a very beautiful woman, and one Muslim aggressor who became a sultan heard about her beauty. So he wanted to see her. So she refused. I don't want to see her. Even seeing a woman like with those bad eyes are bad. Seeing a woman also are bad. So he said, if you do not allow me to see her, I'll invade your country. So she agreed that all right, he can see me in a mirror. So at least his bad eyes don't fall on me directly. She agreed to that. And he saw her in a mirror, and he saw that it was even more beautiful than he had thought her to be. So now he wanted to have her. So physical, so superficial. And he said, if you now do not come to me, I will again attack. So they made a plan. Let us now decide whether we are going to surrender our queen or not. So everybody said, nothing doing. We are not going to surrender. Because the chastity of a woman is very important, and that of a queen. And a queen who is representative of all the womanhood should not be sacrificed. They could not bear the idea. So they said that all right, we'll organize something and cheat these people. So they sent a word, all right, we are all coming and the queen is coming too. And they sent 100 palanquins. We use palanquins for ladies in India, covered. And inside every palanquin there was one warrior sitting with all the weapons, and there were 4 carrying the palanquin. And all these 4 were also warriors. So thus they have about 500 warriors. It was a small kingdom. So when they went down, these people were very happy the queen is coming, and they were all getting drunk and celebrating it, the queen is coming, queen is coming. So they were half drunk also. They had told these women that in case we win, then we lit a fire and you will know that we have won. But if you do not see anything like that, then be sure that we have lost the war. So the king sat in the front while the queen and the rest of them, and they went and attacked them in the sense that they first entered inside, and then instead of the queen, the king came out, and they all fought those people. But they were only 500, so they could not be saved, and these people had better weapons, so they were killed. They did not lit the fire. Now the women knew that all of them will be coming. Now they were very rich sultans, very rich Muslims and things like that. But they thought that now their chastity is in danger. So there was a big platform and they made a big fire on that. And they all entered into it and killed themselves before they could enter and touch their body. So for women especially it is very important to have a great sense of chastity. And if they do not have the great sense of chastity, then they develop all kinds of funny ideas. And mentally they become very imbalanced. And the children that they have also become very funny, and you have all these problems of perverted relations, incest relations. And today I read a horrible story about a little girl who suffered with this incest relationship. It's hell that we have created. In hell, what else is going to be? Same thing. There's no sanity about it. There's no wisdom about it. So we have to now understand how we have to build ourselves as Sajogis. Men and women, all of them have to go hand in hand. Because the first quality I told is wisdom, but the essence of Muladhara is innocence. They are made of innocence. The power of Ganesha is innocence. And innocence comes when you do not destroy it. Actually, a child is born innocent. But if the mother is like that, immediately the child takes over. And if the father is like that, the son takes over. But later on, it has effect, whether it's mother or father. The whole society is decadent, is in decadence, is going down. You can see it so clearly. Thanks to certain great saints in India who made the culture of India. It has not come from any philosophers or any writers or intellectuals, but it has come to us from the saints who understood the value of chastity and who understood the value of innocence. And they have built the whole thing in such a manner that these things never enter into our head. So we call them as susamskaras, means good conditionings. These good conditionings are surrounding us so much that this never enters into our head. All these kind of things that people are doing here are mad. When it doesn't enter into your head, we can say that we just do not allow these possessions to come in. Because if you make preparation in a way for these possessions to come in, then the possessions will be there. Like the way people dress up nowadays, you see. They look like really witches or boots, absolutely. And such people will be definitely attacked. Because the boots think that these are someone like us, let's go into them. Also, Agya is not to be covered. I've told 100 times, please don't cover your Agya. Please clear it up. Don't cover your Agya. If you cover your Agya, then you cannot be protected. They enter into your Agya. And from Agya they can go up to your Muladhara. So you are living in atmosphere which is very dangerous for saints to live. Actually, that's why they said the saints must go to Himalaya. If they could say that to Indians, I don't know what should I say, to people who live in such horrible circumstances. Absolutely horrible. I mean, you think about it, how terrible it is, and how many problems it gives us, how many people are ruined, how many children are ruined, how we go amok. So the first thing is that we should understand that Ganesha gives us maryadas, limits. It is innate within us. It's not imposed on us. It is innate. A little girl, if you see she's shy, she knows how to protect herself. Even the boys, they are shy and they try to protect themselves. But that innate innocence we try to flout. Because ego is there. What's wrong? You tell them anything, what's wrong? And you do not know how devastating it is. In London, I know of so many parents telling me that their children are already squatting, they have got already children at a very young age, about 15, 16, they have got children. And this is so widespread. And so shamelessly they discuss. I mean, in the newspaper if you read, I mean, you can't imagine why to write all these things in such details in the newspaper. There's no need to write each and everything in the newspaper. But basically, we are good people. God has created us good human beings. We are beautiful people. But this ego and this kind of a stupid idea that what's wrong in doing anything coming from ego. People have gone amok. And when you go amok, you get caught up by these booths. And then once you are caught up by these booths, you start behaving in a manner that no one can explain why they behave like this. I just don't understand. There was a boy who came with all his hair not properly done and looking funny, and with all these jatas as we call them. So I asked him, why do you dress up like this? You look like a primitive man. He said, I want to be primitive. I said, you cannot. Your brain is modern. By just making such hair, are you going to become primitive? You cannot become primitive. But just imagine, all these external things they do. For what? To have an identity. Now, this idea of identity is also a sign that you do not have your maryadas. You can do anything. You can become a punk and all kinds of things you do. I mean, there are no maryadas. And that means you are denying Ganesha completely. Ganesha has created those maryadas innately within us. Even a prostitute in India, if she has to take to that profession because she's forced into it, maybe she's being brought from somewhere, or maybe that out of her big problems she might have been a prostitute, she will see that her child is saved. She knows that it's wrong. But here it is so bad that we do not know also that it is wrong. I mean, imagine, this is the limit of things, that you see yourself getting drowned in the water and you know that you are going to be killed. Still you are enjoying, very nice, I am going to be killed. This is the situation of the wisdom. This is really shocking. So we have to now understand what are our maryadas, how we have to live within our maryadas. And I am sure if you really work out your Sri Ganesha, for that the best is to meditate. Put yourself on some nice turf, grass, sit on that, put your left hand with the light and right hand on the Mother Earth and say Atharvashish. If you can remember it by heart, it's a very good thing, otherwise you can keep the book and read it. Or say Ganesha's mantra to begin with. It's going to help you very much. It's going to help you, your eyes, it's going to whole thing is going to be very nice. And also, with this kind of a mad Muladhara, a woman can become extremely aggressive with her husband. I mean, she can be a very cruel woman. And that's what is happening in America now. But I can't understand how women could be that cruel. I mean, I never used to think women could be cruel, really. I mean, they could be sly, they could be sort of doing some scandal mongering or some sort of stupid things like that. But that a woman should be a cruel woman. When I first read the history of England, I was surprised that there were some queens who were very cruel. And also that there were 7 queens were killed. In India, if you if a king kills even one queen, he'll be ousted completely from the whole country. Whose child is crying? Will you take back the child? What's the matter? There must be some position. Otherwise, why should the child cry so much? Take it out. Take him out. There's some sort of a position. Remember, if children start crying in front of my photograph or in my presence, then know there's some position. Otherwise, they won't cry. Take him out. Ishwari, I guess. So it's not a something very simple thing. It's very serious. For Sahaja Yoga is very, very serious. They have to revive their innocence. They have to revive their maryadas. They have to delimit themselves. It's very important. Otherwise, as I would say that if you have some wheat spread out everywhere, how can you reach the heights? You have to put them into some bags, some maryadas. Only by maryadas you can rise. Of course the Kundalini will help. Of course Ganesha will help also. But we should also try to watch ourselves. There should be introspection. Are we still in the same category? I've told many people that it is better you walk with your eyes towards the grass, only at 3 feet, because at 3 feet you can only see children, flowers and grounds. Not higher than that. Nothing very beautiful is beyond that, I think. Always much higher, so that you just see above the heads of people. Nothing in between. And our whole lifestyle is so funny. I just don't know how to explain it. But is accepted. Yesterday there was an Indian, and very seriously came and told me, I've been committing one sin, so I must tell you. I said, what? In my family, nobody takes beer, but I am taking beer sometime. After that, I didn't know where to look. What to say to him? Very seriously he said, you are mother, so I must confess to you, but now I will never touch beer. Imagine. Very seriously he was talking. And another fellow came, who told me, I said, now you Indians don't want to come to this thing. What is it, you are all making money? He said, we have made a lot of money here, we don't want any money. But I said, then why don't you come? You should come and take your to Sahaja Yoga. He said, you see, mother, mostly this is, the trouble is, it's very great hesitation. He said that, you see, mostly it is not advertised in Indian papers. And we Indians think that we are rather of a different species, you see. How are we going to fit in with these people? Because, you see, their ideas are so different, ours are so different. And how are we going to fit in with them? It's very difficult. But this time I saw some Indians also and some Indian musicians singing. So it seems that we can fit into them. Yes, I said they can fit into you and you can fit into them. It's easy, there, your style only. He said we were really enamored how they were nice, you see. And they were, because they do not consider that these things are bad or anything. India is like that, you see. They think that you are of a different bottle and they are of a different bottle. So you are like that and they are like that. They cannot be like you and you cannot be like that. So they think it's a different bottle you belong to, it's a different category of people. But they don't think that you are bad or good. They don't pass judgment. But this is what it is, that we have to understand that we have gone too far with this madness, spoiling our Sri Ganesha. Also, Australians have to give a very big deed in Sri Ganesha's area, because you are sitting on the soil of Sri Ganesha. To all the Sahajogis, you must show. But as you know, what we had horrible experiences so far, and how people have been dominating and doing all kinds of nonsensical things, money-wise and otherwise also, morality-wise. So it sometimes upsets the whole balance of Sahaja, because it's all depending on Sri Ganesha. That means depending on Australians. And Australians have all the possibility of reaching a great height in Ganesh principle. Because they have the Mother Earth here sitting down. What else do they want? You need not take to stupid American style things. I mean, if you see their Halloween, I tell you, you won't eat your food for 8 days. And if you go only to Rio, even you do not visit their carnivals, but even if you see the pictures, you won't eat your food for 1 month. So horrible there. So are we going to follow them, or are we going to start our own Australian Sri Ganesha's special people? Or this, I have to warn you. And people are all watching all over. All Sahajogis are there. You know that all over the world we have Sahajogis. They are watching everyone. And you have to do your maximum to express your Ganesh principle, which should be very easy for you. And as I told you that Australia was a part and parcel of India once upon a time. It has come down here. So, at least in your films and all that, you can say they are dharmic. They are dharmic. They are not so bad as the American films are. But still, this idea of copying the French or the Americans shows that we have lost our personality. But Sri Ganesha gives you a personality. He gives you a personality because he gives you maryadas. You see, by maryadas only you get your personality. A person is known by his maryadas. And that's what has to come within us, are our maryadas. So today's puja is about Sri Ganesha. Of course, you know he has got 4 petals, and you know what he's placed in and what he does and all that, and how he looks after the chastity of his mother and all that. But the main thing is that how we develop Sri Ganesha within us, how people see us as the incarnations of innocence on this earth. I know it's very difficult, but imagine Sri Ganesha sitting on the gate of hell, of excretion, because he's just like a lotus above everything else, and he makes everything fragrant. In the same way, I expect all of you, the Sahajogis of Australia, to have that beautiful personality of Sri Ganesha, and that you emit that fragrance of innocence among all the Sahajogis and then among all the world. May God bless you.
You can start now.
Shri Mataji. Today I wanted to share an experience that stayed with me. This was in Pratishthan in about the year 1997. Shri Mataji was in Pratishthan. She normally spent the winter months in Pune. So mostly a lot of people would come and she would heal people, she would treat them for ailments. The Pune center had a person who was blind in one eye. And for a long time, he's been wanting to see Shri Mataji, and for some reason, he couldn't see. So this time, he came around and Shri Mataji worked on his eye for quite some time. And slowly, the vision came back to his eyes. It was a problem with the back arc. So he was very grateful to her and he wanted to offer something. And Shri Mataji said, I don't accept anything from the people I treat. So he said, I'm an astrologer. Actually, he was a very well-known astrologer in Pune. And if you give me permission, I would like to draw your horoscope. So he drew out the horoscope of Shri Mataji. And then he explained that to Shri Mataji that, you are clearing all the negativity of the world. And that is straining your body. It's a big burden on your body. And it may lead to some health issues. So he requested that, now you should reduce your traveling and reduce your public programs and so forth. Because this negativity that you are absorbing to save the world may finally cause a disability to you. So Shri Mataji smiled and she said, now read the 9th house. So he read the 9th house as a Navgraha. So in the 9th house it read that within you is the power of resurrection. So though you will be absorbing all the negativity and it may hamper your health, but with your power of resurrection, you will again resurrect your body and you will gain perfect health. So Shri Mataji told him that, I have taken this birth for the emancipation of mankind. And till my last breath, I will continue to do my work. Come what may, I'm not worried about this body. And that is how Shri Mataji continued. She would absorb our negativity. She would take away the negativity inside of herself. Of course, it would cause her pain, her chakras, her feet would swell. For instance, if there was a puja and we didn't absorb the vibrations, then her feet would swell. And then the whole night, the in-house yogis would massage the feet and slowly, the swelling would go. And only then she would sleep. And sometimes it would continue the whole night into the early hours. And she would not sleep the whole day. But she said she had the love, so much love for her children, that she bore the pain. Of course, nobody saw it. She never complained. But you could see that inside there was suffering. Her body was so compassionate that it just absorbs the negativity outside. And we saw this on many occasions. For instance, when she arrived in Turkey, Istanbul airport, and we were driving in a car, and immediately her right foot went into contortions. It just wouldn't stop because Istanbul is such a right-sided place, and she immediately absorbed it. Her body is like a barometer, and it reflects everything. So then we had to stop the car. She stood on the earth for a while, and we said the mantras of the right side. And after 15-20 minutes, the Mother Earth absorbed all that negativity that she had absorbed in the right side. And then her foot became calm. The same thing happened in Delhi at the first public program on Doordarshan. The Doordarshan team had come to the Qutub Center to record her. And we were all very excited that this was going to be the first interview of Shri Mataji on Doordarshan. So we were getting into a new dimension altogether. But the yogis who were behind this organization were getting very hyper. And the right-sided went to such an extent that just as the interview was starting, again her right side, her foot started going into contortions. So we had to delay the interview for a while, massage her feet, and then ask those sage yogis to go out for a while, do a foot soak and so forth. And then her right foot calmed down. Another incident I remember, this was in Kabela. It was customary in those days that before the puja, there used to be a leaders' meeting. Leaders' meeting meant that the representatives of all the countries would come up to the castle, and Shri Mataji would listen to all the problems of each country and counsel them. So at one meeting, we were sitting in the drawing room, and next to the drawing room is her bedroom, and waiting for Shri Mataji. And we kept waiting for an hour, and she didn't come out. Then after an hour, the message came that Shri Mataji has been absorbing our right side, which has gone up too much, and it has made her unwell. So she will not be addressing the leaders' meeting today. And in the evening was the puja. So what she was doing was that she absorbed all our problems inside of her, and she was working them out. Until she had worked them out, her health wouldn't permit her to come to the puja. So the puja had to be postponed to the next day. And in the meanwhile, the message came that all of us should clear our right side. We should go to the river and do foot soak and say the mantras for clearing the right side. So when the right side was in balance, when we were in balance, then her health was in balance. So we, in other words, reflect on her, and her body reflects all our problems. So these problems are not cleared out by lecturing or don't do this, don't do that. telling people of this is organic. If the problem is worked out at the level of the chakras, the Kundalini works it out, then automatically that problem goes. The anger, the ambition of the leaders, the arrogance, all these things, she sucks. And then that gives us balance. So it's a very different dimension which has never been tried before. And for us also it was a new thing that we could actually deal with our day-to-day problems at the level of vibration. That we could solve not only our emotional, physical, but also collective problems of our society, of our family, of our countries, by working on the vibrations. So we really understood how we were a part and parcel of her, how we were cells in her body. And if these cells were not in harmony with each other, it would disturb her health. So it was a very delicate balance. We had to be always very careful when we were in her presence that she doesn't absorb anything from us. And I remember one occasion I had caught up something from another sage yogis, and I was supposed to attend to her in the morning. But I felt that she would unnecessarily be burdened by my problem. So I decided not to go, and I telephoned another sage yogi that you please attend to Shri Mataji. So when she came to know that I was not coming, she telephoned me and said, if I don't clear your problem, who will clear your problem? I'm the mother. I have to do it. You come over. And sure enough, just 10 minutes in her presence and I was cleared up. So as our awareness grows, as our sensitive also grows, our body becomes more and more compassionate. The compassion in us grows. So we also start absorbing. As we absorb, we should also release. But what happens that if we are blocked at some chakras or we are weak at some chakras, then the negativity which we absorb gets stored inside instead of getting cleared out. And that causes us disturbances. Now, how to release all the time? That whatever we absorb, we should release, so that nothing stays in us. And the answer to that is the understanding within that it is Shri Mataji who is doing everything, and we are only her instruments. So if we've absorbed something, then we have to pray to her, Shri Mataji, you are the doer. We do nothing. We're only your instrument. Please take away whatever we have absorbed. And you can put your hand on the Mother Earth, you can make a prayer. But that surrender has to be there. Just saying it, lip service, doesn't work. You have to feel her inside. So today's meditation, we will work on feeling her inside of us. She's not outside of us. She is inside of us as our Kundalini. And we have to become conscious of it. We become conscious of it by feeling it on our central nervous system, feeling her presence, feeling her love on our central nervous system, on all our chakras. So let us first bow down to Shri Mataji and take a bandhan. Say the three mantras and Shri Ganesha. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Mahalakshmi Mahasaraswati Mahakali Trigunatmika Kundalini Sakshat Shri Adi Shakti Mataji Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namah. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Kalaki Sakshat Shri Adi Shakti Mataji Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namah. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Kalaki Sakshat Shri Sahasrar Swamini Moksha Pradayani Mataji Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namah. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Ganesha Sakshat Shri Adi Shakti Mataji Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namah. Now we can put both our hands on Mother Earth and pray to Shri Mataji. Shri Mataji, whatever we have absorbed in our chakras, in our nadis, please take it away. श्री भूमि देवी माता, कृपया हमारे सभी चक्र और सभी नाड़ियों के दोष अर्पित कीजिए. O Mother Earth, please absorb all the negativity we have collected in our chakras, in our nadis. Attention on Shri Mataji as we pray. Praying to her very humbly. Please absorb all the negativity we have collected in our chakra, in our nadis. Fervently pray to Mother Earth. We also pray to her to absorb the coronavirus COVID-19. Now slowly open your eyes. Keep your hands on your palm, on the lap. Right hand on the left navi. Eyes closed. And here we thank Shri Mataji for giving peace in our navi. Shri Mataji, thank you for bringing peace in our navi chakra. Shri Mataji, thank you for bringing peace in our home. Shri Mataji, thank you for bringing peace in our family life. Shri Mataji, thank you for bringing peace in our society. Shri Mataji, thank you for bringing peace to all mankind. We thank Shri Mataji for bringing contentment in our Nabhi Chakra through Sahaja Yoga. Shri Mataji, thank you for bringing contentment in our Nabhi Chakra. Shri Mataji, thank you for bringing contentment in our daily life. Shri Mataji, thank you for bringing contentment in our family life. You have given us the most precious things. And now we don't hanker after anything else. You have bestowed upon us a treasure that the world cannot hold. Only this contentment power can keep this treasure buried inside our Nabi. Now, put this hand on the right side of the liver. Shri Mataji, thank you for bestowing upon us patience. From the liver, the hecticness moves to the left navi. So if the liver is patient, the navi is patient. Shri Mataji, thank you for making our liver patient. Thank you for settling down our liver. We feel more settled inside of us because our liver is settled. It's no more jumping. Now bring the hand on the center navi. And we thank Shri Mataji for the gift of Vishwa Nirmaladhar, that sustains our Navi. Shri Mataji, thank you for sustaining our Navi with Vishwa Nirmaladhar. Shri Mataji, thank you for sustaining our Navi with Vishwa Nirmaladhar. Shri Mataji, thank you for sustaining our Navi with Vishwa Nirmaladhar. On this lotus of Vishwa Nirmaladhar at the Navi Chakra, Shri Mataji, you are positioned inside of us. You are standing inside of us in our Kundalini. Please allow us to feel your presence inside of us. You are in every chakra. Allow us to feel you as love in our heart, placing the hand on the heart. You are the ocean of love. You are the ocean of compassion. Allow us to feel this compassion in our heart. Allow us to become the power of compassion. No ego, no guilt can stand before this power of compassion. We are not worried about our ego or our guilt anymore. The power of your compassion will take us beyond it. As your body is made of compassion, let our body also be made of compassion. The compassion that dissolves everything else, all guilt, all ego, all superego, everything. In your compassion, you have taken all the guilt on yourself. In your compassion, you have taken all our guilt upon yourself. May our compassion spread to the whole world. Joy is born out of compassion. Feel the joy of our mother's compassion inside of you. Totally joyous, thoughtless. There should be no pressure anywhere, nothing to be tense. No concentration or anything. The Kundalini manifests her own joy without your effort because she is the source of joy. Keep your attention loose, totally relaxed. Kundalini stages her own manifestation. You have to do nothing. Just allow Shri Mataji's presence inside of you to work out. It's spontaneous. Very slowly, open your eyes and keep your attention on Shri Mataji's lotus feet, thanking her for the meditation, for allowing you to feel her presence within you. Gradually bow down to her and take bandhan and raise your kund.
First thing is, Uncle, there is a certain self-doubt that all of us keep feeling at times. Like, you know, I felt in this year, we had a, like I told you last time, it has been amazing. Vibrationally, it has been very uplifting. Meditations have been really, really good. And when you feel that you've reached that level where you're meditating so well, morning and evening, you're going deeper, like the vibrations that I personally started feeling were amazing. But, and you feel like you're never going to hit that low again. But you always do.
Yes.
You know, like I felt like, oh, I'm getting to that level now. I won't hit that low again. Where, you know, I'm getting complacent with my meditations. I feel that lethargy and that laziness, that negativity keeps coming in between and makes me feel tired or fatigued. And I'm like, oh, I'm too tired to meditate right now, or too tired to wake up in the morning again. I felt like that's not going to happen, but that happened again. You know, it just hits you like a phase every time when you think that
Yes. What
you reach
happens
that
is
level and it won't happen.
that as are aware, as we meditate, and you, as you mentioned, you reach a certain level.
Yeah.
So at that level of awareness, you're able to dig out more deep-seated conditionings. So those conditionings start pulling us down. So we have to again witness them, face them, and then let them go, and again we are back. So it's an ongoing process. But what happens as you meditate regularly, you also develop a power of sustenance.
Mm.
So a stage comes that you will start seeing the conditionings, deep-seated conditionings unfold. But because you develop now a level of sustenance, it will not let them pull you down. The attachment which is there to those conditionings will not pull it down because you've developed a power of sustenance. So it takes a while to develop the sustenance. Yes, we've reached that stage, but to sustain it,
Mm.
it takes a while. It's a process of organic maturity.
Yeah, because when that happens, you feel like then you start self-doubting. Like when you start hitting
Not
that low again.
self-doubting. You should feel happy that, oh, something was hiding, and I'm glad, it's come out under the carpet.
Yeah.
So it's a process of self-discovery.
Yeah, that's very true because this has been happening with me personally in the last few weeks. Like I felt like I've been doing so well with my meditations and I'm just getting deeper and deeper, and then all of a sudden that fatigue is again setting in, that lethargy is again setting in, and waking up in the morning used to be really easy, and now it's again getting very hard. And again, for me, I always feel like when that happens, I start feeling that I become very complacent with my meditations.
No,
Like,
it's not complacent. I remember, when you're with Shri Mataji, you're always on a high. And one day we were watching a movie. It was about Shahid Bhagat Singh.
yeah,
And after the movie, I'm a great patriot, and all the stories of partition told me in childhood because the family from my mother's side were from Kashmir, and that part went to Pakistan. So she lost a lot of her family members. So somewhere in my childhood, it had gone into my subconscious. So after the movie, I just became so speechless that I didn't know what had happened to me. And she looked at me and she said, speechless. And I wanted to say something I couldn't say. So she brought it out. And then I realized that the trauma of partition seen through my mother's eyes had somewhere stayed inside of me. And then this movie in her presence brought it out. So, you know, all of us have all these things, but the important thing is that it should come out.
Yeah.
And because of that, I was never able to forgive. I had kind of a bias against Muslims, which I'm not aware of. And this, you know, when we say we forgive, so I said, you know, why haven't I forgiven them? So a lot of things like that we understand about ourselves.
Yeah.
But our awareness has to go there now. So this is what happens to us all the time. But then when you sustain that, then you don't get affected by it.
Yeah.
So in her presence, she was able to make me see it without my going into the left. So in the same way, you know, when you're more and more aware of her presence inside of you, then you're able to see things through her perspective and not your individual perspective. So that changes the dynamics.
That's a very refreshing way to look at it, because what, like you said, it pushes you on the left. It makes you feel guilty.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, why am I not doing it? Or what is this negativity that keeps coming into me, that stops me from meditating?
Yeah. So, you know, these are things inside all of us. And the earlier we unwind them, the lesser our burdens that we are carrying.
Yeah.
The baggage becomes lighter, so it's easier to move.
That's true. Can I share one miracle that happened, Uncle? It didn't happen very recently, but I think it was last year. I was again going through one of these phases of my journey into Sahaj has been very, very recent, I would say. Like, I feel like I was, what do you call it? Space rocketed into Sahaj. So I only came to Sahaj 4 years ago. And 1 year into Sahaj, I got married in Sahaj. Like, it took me a while to get in. My sister, Rupina, she kept telling me about Sahaj for about 4-5 years. And I just kept thinking it's not for me. So she made me forcefully meditate. But I don't think I ever got my realization, because my desire was probably not there at that time. So I had to go through a lot of hardship in those 4 years. And when I finally came into Sahaj, I came with a lot of faith and power, I believe. So I witnessed so many miracles within that 1 year. Like, my life changed 360 degrees from what I was to what I became. And that instilled such a faith and such a surrenderance, I would say. Like, I just felt like it's the easiest thing to do. I don't have to make any decision ever. I just leave it to mother and it works out. So that's the reason why I got married in Sahaj within a year. That was another miracle for another time. But when that happened, I came to Australia. I got married to Webber, moved here. So everything had been, again, uphill, uphill, uphill. So you have to, again, go through a phase where you have to, like you said, your deep-seated conditionings keep coming out. So I think I again went through a phase in between where when I was in India, when I just got to Sahaj, I was not a part of any collective. I would go wherever, because in India, there's so many sessions that happened. There's a session center happening in some place in Gurgaon, some other place in Noida, some other place. You can always go anywhere you want. And I would go to Nirmal Dham every weekend or whenever my heart would desire. Like I need to be with Shri Mataji, I would just pick up my car and go to Nirmal Dham. So I had such a freedom in India that when I came to Australia, all of a sudden I was part of a collective. And that's, after a while, got very suffocating. Like I just felt like I'm not getting enough space to breathe. It's always a certain way things have to be done. And then, you're in a group of tight-knit people, so that in between I went through a phase that really got to me. And all of a sudden I started feeling like I don't want to go to the ashram. I just need a break. I just need time to myself. And Vaibhav, luckily, he never forced me. So initially he did try to persuade me, like, don't stop going to the ashram. You should go. But after a while, he just gave me my freedom, and he would go. I would never stop him, but I stopped going. And in between, I went through an entire phase where I would not meditate. And of course, I was not feeling good from inside, because, when you're not meditating, it weighs you down after a while because you're not clearing yourself. And one day I just felt like I've had enough. So I stopped coming to mother's room as well. Like, again, something that, would make you feel like, oh, I'll do it later. And I would just stop coming into mother's room. Like, that would be the first thing I would do generally. Come here, bow down, do namaskar to mother. And in that time, I stopped doing that. One day in the evening, I remember I came to mother's room and I bowed down and I tried to meditate. So I put my hands on the earth and I thought I'll try and see if I can meditate today, and I couldn't. And then in my heart, I prayed to Shri Mataji. I said, I remember when I came to Sahaj, somebody had sent me Shri Mataji's promise that, whenever you need me, I will be there with all my powers. And I would keep listening to that all the time. And then I just lost that message because I changed my phone and I could never get it back. That day, I again tried to look for that. Maybe I thought that will help me if I hear that from mother, where she's saying that, whenever you need me, I will be there with all my powers. And I couldn't find it. And I thought maybe this is it again. I'm not able to find it. So I just put my hands down on the earth and I said, Shri Mataji, if you're here, if you can hear me, I really need you right now. Because I remembered what she had said in that promise. I said, you promised you would always be here with all your powers whenever we would need you. And right now I need you. And if you can hear me, if you're here, just give me some sign. And, in my heart, I thought I've prepared so sincerely, maybe now I'll be able to meditate. So I again sat down with my hands open and my attention was all over the place again. I couldn't do it. So I just bowed down, came out of the room and took a bandhan, and that's it. I thought maybe it just didn't work out. So that night I had a massive headache, so I went off to sleep early. And then in the kitchen, we have another small altar where we have mother's Annapurna Roop photograph. And it's quite high. We don't have a microwave. So the place where we were supposed to originally put the microwave, we have just an altar there. So we had kept a coconut there to vibrate. And it had been there for about 2-3 days. So in the morning, Vaibhav woke up and he came to me and he came running. He said, did you see what happened outside? I said, I don't know. He said, you have to come and see this. He said, did you do something with the coconut? I said, no, I didn't even wake up. So he's like, no, you have to come out and see this. So I went out and I saw there was a coconut that was vibrating in front of mother's photograph. It felt like somebody had taken like a chainsaw and, nicely cut just the top of the coconut. So the entire water was intact inside the coconut. It was sitting in front of mother, like it was offered to her, like she wanted to drink the coconut water. The top was off on the ground and there was no water anywhere, like no water spilled anywhere. It felt like somebody had nicely come and just cut the top of the coconut. And, it is just sitting nicely offered to mother. And both of us are looking at the coconut and we're just so stunned. Like, how did that happen? Did somebody break into our house? And we're checking here and there, like, how did that happen? So, I was just trying to process. I never told Vaibhav what I did when I came to meditate the previous night. So I went back to the bedroom and I was just sitting and trying to process. Like yesterday, I was telling Shri Mataji, give me a sign if you can hear me, if you're here. Show me that you're here. And then this happens. Is it related? I'm just processing that. And then Vaibhav came and he's like, did you by any chance pray something to Shri Mataji last night? I was like, how did you say that? And we realized that, there was such a big miracle that Shri Mataji's actually gave such a big proof that, I'm here, I'm listening, no matter what. Even if you feel that guilt that you're not meditating, even if you feel like you're not right there, um, and you get pushed into the left, she just proved that I'm there. And I was trying to remember that even now, but again, it's just so surprising that you still hit that low again. Like it's not as bad as it was last time, but it still keeps happening. So I just wanted to put that question, like, why? And I can't keep asking Shri Mataji to prove that she's listening to me again and again. But
she's there inside of you as your Kundalini.
Yeah.
She's not outside.
That's true. That's true. You're right, Uncle. It does make you think about your deep-seated conditionings and your deep-seated fears, or I don't know what they are, but that's true. Because you do get better with every meditation and every passing time. You just keep evolving more. That's true. But I hope these things reduce in future.
They just become fun after some time. You will laugh at them. Because you see yourself through a lens of time, and then you just say, oh, how funny I was. The whole things that I did that they're coming back to are so funny, so you just laugh at yourself. So you don't even feel bad anymore. It's just funny. So there's no feeling of guilt, even if you did the wrong things. They were funny. So just laugh. Then it just goes off. You don't have to start analyzing, feeling guilty. It's just another incarnation, and now you're in another incarnation.
Thank you, Uncle. Thank you so much for sharing these beautiful experiences with us today. And it's always lovely to have a meditation with you. And hopefully we'll have many more in the future. Thank you, Uncle. Jai Shri Mataji.